All right, this is Tuesday, August the 15th. It's been a little while, a week and a day. And this is my yoga practice. Nice, quick, short yin yoga practice focused on breathing and stretching. Starting off, a forward fold. And yeah, I even took a break off from my practice yesterday because I had a big day on Sunday. Taught a class, which I don't always do. Lots of fun. Got lots of people smile, so that was good. And now it's time to relax. Get the timer set for about 3 minutes. Just relax into the pose. So forward fold, straighten the legs. Eventually you want to get the heels and the balls of the feet together. The ankles might touch, they might not. I usually keep a small space between the ankles. And at this point, I'm really just trying to feel the stretch, right? All things are relative. The back of my legs feel a little tight this morning. Just to be expected because I didn't practice yesterday. And so I'm keeping my hands on the earth, right? I can bring the hands up. When I bring the hands up, then I have to spend more effort on balancing. I don't feel like doing that today. But if you want a balance challenge, feel free to bring the hands up. Focus on breathing, relaxing the upper body. Feel all the vertebrae in the spine. Space in the vertebrae, start to relax. You might feel a couple pops. Of course, this is assuming you can get your legs straight, right? If you've got tight hamstrings, feel free to bend the knees as much as is comfortable for you. If you want to relax the upper body, if you want to try and straighten the legs, then straighten your upper body a little bit. So for me, I'm working on relaxing the upper body, so I'm putting more effort in the legs, more musculature effort into the legs. Upward facing dog. Hey, camera froze for a sec, but it's back. All right, so the cool transition towards upward facing dog. Get your hands towards your toes. Bend the elbows. Rib cage to the elbows. And then at a certain point, you lean forward. You can start to feel the balance. Take the legs up. Takes a fair amount of effort, especially on the front side of the body. And then take this down, back towards upward facing dog. So that's a floating chin stand, right? I think, or at least that's what I'm calling it. Because normally the chin is pressed against the earth to help maintain balance on that pose. But if you can, you just float the chin up. Now my upward facing dog, it's different than most people. Most people have the fingers to the front, whereas I have the fingers towards the toes. That provides extra stimulation on the wrists and the forearm.
And as soon as the low back gets to a happy place, it takes a while. It can take a while. Then you can flip the head back slowly and gently. Feel a few pops in the neck. Use the head as a counterweight to try and arch the spine a little more. And feel the stretch. Even lift up the chin a little, stretch the throat. You can push the shoulders down to lift the spine up a little more to try and get even more of a stretch on the back. This is a very good setup for a back bend pose because it gets the spine in a nice alignment where it's ready for a back bend. So I say that because I've tried doing back bends before, just straight from forward fold to back bend. It doesn't always work. The lower vertebrae aren't always in the right spot. But in any case, what are we doing next? Next up is downward facing dog. So from up dog to down dog. Yeah, there we go. There's lots of things to work on in your downward facing dog. Depends on what you want to do. You can bend the knees, right? To get that nice spinal curvature. So a little bit of a posterior flex in the spine on the low back. And then as soon as you find that, try to keep the spine in the same spot and then start to straighten the legs. See how that treats you. And then with this positioning, right, I can already feel the Achilles stretching a little bit. And then it's just a kind of a negotiation of back and forth between the legs and the spine. Trying to get the legs a little straighter, trying to keep the spine where it was. And kind of wind up working both. Feet are about hips width apart, hands about shoulders width apart. I just have to keep my fingers spread. You can see that on my right hand. And then you can look up towards those hands. Feel it stretch on the front side of the shoulders. So working the front side of the shoulders, the hamstrings a little bit, the Achilles a little bit, and the back a little bit. Stretching the hamstrings and Achilles, but working the back. So engaging the musculature in the back, putting some effort into that, trying to keep the back nice and straight. But trying to relax the shoulders. 30 seconds or so. Heels are starting to hit the floor, so that's cool. Get the shoulders down a little bit. Keep
trying to straighten the legs. I don't quite want to do that when I straighten the legs, and the back says, nope, I have to unbend. All right, so next up, we're going to move through to a seated position. All right, so from downward dog, the cool way to move through towards a seated position. Bring your weight over your hands, then bring your knees towards your chest. All right, you can drag the feet and take this through. Hey, there we go. All right, next up is Janushirasana. Nice hamstring stretch. Today's the 15th, so I do the left side first on odd numbered days. Just relax, take this forward. The right foot is going towards the left thigh. You can press into it if you want, if you need to. And relax. But the main focus is trying to get the low back, the hips, the thighs, and the hamstrings to relax. Right? To varying levels of success to whatever your body can do for you today. Another thing you want to do is relax the head and the neck. A lot of times when you start to curve the spine and the neck and the head, curve the entire spinal column down, you'll feel more of a stretch. You'll feel your nerves stretching, and you won't be able to go down as far, or at least as far as you think, because you're stretching the nerves in the spinal column as opposed to the muscle in the hamstring. And so even today, I feel a little bit limited by that, right? Because my forehead's not to the earth, right? So I haven't been practicing the stretch enough. Just try to relax. That's what the timer is set for 3 minutes for. Give you a lot of time in the pose. And the most important part is to find a sustainable form of the pose, right? Something that you can hold for a minute or two or more. And if you can't hold it that long, then you come up to the point where you can hold it for a little longer. A big part of the practice is acknowledging what our body day, and that's the big part of holding poses for a very long time, especially when you start doing it, because you can't do what you see other people do, right? Or what you think you should be able to do, and it can be the ego doesn't always like that. So you've got to learn to let that go a little bit and pay more attention to the body, less attention to your desires. Yeah, now I'm feeling a kind of a nerve stretch, kind of in the mid to upper back, right around there, both sides of the spinal column. If I want to, right, I can get the head down, right, so comfortable. And that's only after having stretched for about 3 minutes. All right, next side. Right leg. Yay. Again, nice and slow. And yeah, you saw how I just kind of put my head down on the other side, right? In order to put my head down, it took effort, right? I had to engage the core, use my musculature to bring myself down. Whereas what I'm focusing on now is just letting gravity do the work. So kind of a least effort pose, right? As little muscle effort as possible. Relax. Yeah, feel the tension in the hamstring. Again, feeling the kind of the mid back a little bit. But my right side is generally a little bit more open than the left side. So I've got a right side bias. And then also the second side of whatever stretch you do is usually easier than the first side. So I'll probably get my head down on this side. And you can place your hand like right the quad, just above the knee, right where the quad ends. Help keep the right leg straight. So you can use the arm muscles instead of the leg muscles. So you can focus more of the leg on just stretching out the hamstring. So find a nice stretch. Yeah, because you really feel the hamstring. Oh, look at that. Before it's touching the earth. Right, it's kind of grazing the carpet right now. So this is a pure gravity stretch, right? I wasn't pulling my head down. So then once you start to get the forehead towards the earth, there's a couple things you can do, right? You can pull the forehead closer to the pelvis, right? When you do that, that stretches out the nerves in the back a little more. Another thing you can do is you can start to straighten the back, which stretches out the hamstring a little more. I definitely felt a shift on the stretch when I started to straighten the back a little bit. Because when you straighten the back, the pelvis starts to rotate forward a little more, rotate forward. And so that's why you feel more of a stretch in the leg. It's definitely more than what I got on the other side. And so that's why odd days I start on the left side first. Even days I'll start on the right side first. So I can switch up the first side bias. All right, so that's that. Next up is asymmetric pose, wide splits. With wide splits, you just kind of go to where you can. And no, I have not always been able to do this. I started in my mid-30s. Before that, my hamstrings were always super tight. And relax. Do a nice stretch. Yeah, so normally I really kind of don't feel a stretch at all in the legs in this pose. But I do a little bit today because I didn't practice yesterday. And then add on a shoulder twist. Left shoulder stretch, right shoulder twist. Work the right hand up. And relax. I feel a little bit of a stretch on the left shoulder. I feel more twist on the right shoulder. And then as soon as you get that hand walked up, then try to relax all the muscles in the right shoulder. Yeah, the hand will move out of position when you relax everything, but that's cool. And in a moment, we do the other side. Swap this around. And then as you get into the pose, right, then you start to relax your upper body and your right shoulder, and things will move around a little bit. Because as you get into the pose, you don't know the muscles that you're tightening up in order to maintain the pose. But then you get there and then you start to relax.
Things always shift when you relax, right? All right, and that is that. Final part of practice is handstand practice. All right, yay, handstands. And the best way to practice your handstands is to flat out simply practice your handstands. I'm not going to do it against the wall because I'm good enough for what I want to do. I don't need to do that, though I may still fall over. But if you want to, awesome thing to do is to practice with the wall in front of you so that you don't over rotate, right? And just, kind of do it, right? So start from here, go up and down, up and down, up. And this is how you learn to balance the body, is just going up and down. See, look at that. Even I still over rotate, right? Because I am not perfect on my handstands. I'm far from perfect. There are a lot of people that are a lot better than me. Oh, over rotated again. But that's what you do. You just practice, and slowly you get better. And yeah, this isn't really a yin yoga part, but it is good for handstand practice, right? Eventually, right? You can just kind of hold it. All right, so tired. There we go. A little tired. Good stuff. Good practice. If you watched, you totally rock. You're awesome. Cool. Thanks. And enjoy the rest of the day. Take care and have fun.